Who was here a couple of years ago when I stood up here and spoke as though we already had 10 clinics around the Central Coast up and running when in fact we only had 2? Who was here when I gave that talk? Okay, so for those of you who weren't, we've gone from 2 clinics to 6 in a little better than 2 years with intention. And if you'd asked me on June 3rd, 2002, the first day way over there on Blanco Circle when I started in the little teeny-weeny 1,500 square foot space, if we would be where we are at some point, I would have said yes, absolutely. But if you'd asked me, well, how are you gonna get there and by when and what's it gonna look like? I would have said, I have no idea. So everyone in this room has been part and parcel, an enormous part of faith and belief and vision and speaking over creating one's own reality. And every single one of you has a lot to do with it. And I'm gonna be all over the place today, so bear with me. But there have been a lot of people that have come in and out of here over 21 plus years that we've been in business. But there's one thing that's never, ever, ever changed. Our vision for the company, our mission, and our core values, which hopefully everybody has at least partially, if not entirely committed to memory, because there's a plaque literally on the wall in every single place of business that flies under the Balanced Physical Therapy flag with our core values up on the wall, the STRONG acronym, right? So today we're going to talk about lions. If you guys have ever been to my office at HQ, I have a great big picture in a rainbow color of a lion hanging on the wall. In fact, Mr. McShane, that I obtained years ago at a fundraiser at McShane's Nursery. And I have a lion on my screensaver. And I'll talk about why we're going to talk about lions. We're going to talk about searching our souls a little bit. And then we're going to talk about what I believe it means to have a life well lived, because I think it's universal. And after I'm done speaking, I think that a lot of you will agree. And it's also why I believe our company continues to do what it's doing year after year, day after day, month after month. It's not easy, but it is entirely worthwhile, in my humble opinion. So before I start, I'm going to read a few things. The first is the vision for our company. I'm just going to read it as it is up on our website, as it is in every piece of written material I've ever put out. Balanced Physical Therapy is dedicated to being the most patient-focused, results-driven physical therapy practice on the Central Coast of California. Through our strong core values, we're committed to remaining an autonomous, multidisciplinary practice that will continue to impact lives through movement for generations to come. Simple, right? Mission. What's our mission? It's to change the world, one patient at a time, by impacting their lives through movement and through mindset. More specifically, we're committed to impacting lives through movement by creating fantastic relationships with our patients, opportunities for our team members, and support for our community. And we do it in a variety of ways, but we do it always. And lastly, our core values. This is why I believe deeply that we are where we are after 21 plus years. It's every single one of those core values supports everything that we do on a daily basis, particularly the service component. It's the first one, and it's very clear. Service to patients. Service to patients. And I'm going to come back to why that's so important in just a second. If any of you are connected with me on social media, every now and then I'll put something up there because I'm inspired to do it, or because I'm going through something, or the company's going through something, or one of my friends and I have a serious talk, or my wife and I have an argument, or one of the kids is going through something difficult. And recently I put something up that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to call, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where's my lion? I can't see him. There he is. You're hiding. Okay. So the quote that I put up, guys, was this: be kind always. Everyone's going through a battle you know nothing about, or a struggle you know nothing about. And I know that's true because I'm a human being just like you, and I'm living through my own stuff, right? Whether it exists in here or it actually exists out here in the real world, we're all fighting a battle that nobody knows anything about. And a lot of those are real for us, even if they're only in our minds. They're real struggles. They're hard. So I want to invite you guys to do something that I do, typically by myself, but just for fun, but also to show you that we're all human and that, come on up, yeah, come on. I want you to introduce yourself to the group. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the group.
Hi guys, I'm Joseph.
Joseph is one of our aides in Monterey, and he and I had a little chat recently, and I told him that I was going to have him come up here and show us his lion, and he kind of looked at me like I was nuts. Like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, listen, bear with me. Please allow me to call you up. And okay. So everybody, by a show of hands, who's struggling with something right now? Okay. How many of our patients are struggling? All of them, right? Okay. So on one level, we're the same as our patients. We're all struggling in one way or another. And sometimes you just want to scream, right? Sometimes you just want to, or lift something heavy. That's what I do. That's the only way I make it, guys. I lift heavy stuff as best I can, to get it out. And sometimes when I'm in the car, I scream out loud. I just let it out. And because I'm on the road a lot lately between clinics, I kind of do it a lot. So I want you to think of the thing in your life that frustrates you the most, gets you the most agitated, upset, pissed off, and I want you to give a yell. Loud as you can. Let it out. Go ahead.
Really?
You first. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let it out.
I don't want to scare you.
Bring it. Come on. Let it out. Let's go.
I don't know what's troubling me right now.
Okay, then I'll stand a few feet away. I might be troubling you right now. Give it a yell. Come on. Give it a try.
Okay.
Come on. To the group. Just let it out. Come on, you can do it.
I really don't want to be up here.
I know. Can I help? We'll do it together with you.
Okay. Yeah.
On three?
Yeah.
I promise.
Am I dismissed?
No, on three. On three, you and I are going to go.
Oh, where are we going?
We're going to yell.
Oh, okay.
Hard.
Well, what are we yelling though?
You're a lion's roar.
Oh, okay.
Your biggest, baddest.
I don't want to scare you though.
Your baddest
Dude.
ass mofo roar that you can come up with.
Dude, yours
On
my
three.
ring.
On three.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Go. Ah! Like that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Where's yours?
Oh, it was just taken away.
Thank you for being a good sport. Okay. So, Joseph, I wanted to do that for all of you guys because we're all the same. We're all struggling with various things. Some of us, we know what we're struggling with because we're close with each other and we share and we talk. Others of us, we keep it to ourselves. Others of us, we hit the gym hard. But in spite of whatever it is that everyone in this room is going through, we show up day after day to serve other people. Like, that's remarkable. We put our own stuff aside, even though sometimes on the way to work, I do that by myself in the car. And then we come and we bring our best for other people. And that, in my humble opinion, is a superpower that everyone in this room has. It's amazing to watch, it's humbling to be a part of, and it is really special to see how it's growing. Not only through our therapists who are growing up in the company, but through our aides who are going off to physical therapy school, many of whom are coming back as therapists and as professionals and as clinicians. It is awesome. And I want to say how privileged and how humbled I feel to be here standing in front of you all today, having something to do with the trajectory of where this company is going and what it's accomplishing for the people who come see us as patients. It's very special. And each and every one of you is a very unique part of it. And so I want to say thank you for all of you for being lions, because it's not easy. And in that same vein, I'm going to read something that's very fond to me. It's called Being a Lion. Everyone wants to be a lion until you have to do lion shit. Lions can go weeks without food, still a lion. Lions can lose their pride, Still a lion. Lions can lose in battle to another animal. Still a lion. Remember that no matter where you are today, starving for work or success, beat down by life, whatever, you can still be a lion. You may not eat this week, but keep doing lion shit and you will come out on top. So to all of you guys, us that are struggling, keep doing lion shit. It's there for you. Joseph, thank you again. That was amazing. So the next exercise, and leadership team has been telling me no longer than 20 minutes, no longer than 20 minutes, so I'm going to hustle. I want you to pick a partner in close proximity to where you're sitting who you don't know that well and who you do not directly work with, okay? And just pick them. Just go to them right now, please, come on. This is only going to take 4 minutes. Everybody have their partner? Okay. Does everybody have a partner? Okay, everybody stand up. Face your partner. This is where it gets real, guys. I want you to take this as seriously as you can, and on the other end of the 4 minutes, I have a timer. On the other end of the 4 minutes, I'll explain why this is so important. Some of you are going to get real uncomfortable. That's the whole idea. Some of you are going to be very comfortable, and maybe you can share what you felt or why you felt it at the other end of this 4 minutes. But what I want you to do is very gently place your hand on the shoulders of your partner, both of you, and I want you to look. I'm serious. Come on, let's go. It's arm's length. Nobody has cooties. Come on. Let's go. Look into each other's eyes. Look into each other's eyes. Okay, hold on. This is just like we had an exercise outside. There's a reason for this. I want you to try to be as quiet as possible. Okay, silent would be preferred. On 3, we're going to start the timer. Don't break eye contact. And watch what happens. Of course. That's physiological, brother. Come on. On 3, don't break eye contact. Go. Don't break eye contact. That's it. Time. Woo! All right. Let's bring it back. 2 o'clock. We're doing great. So, I'll just call on a few people. Who wants to share what they felt during that exercise? Who felt uncomfortable? Yeah, okay. Who found themselves starting to talk, even though I said try to keep it quiet, because they were so uncomfortable, they just had to start talking and saying stuff. Yeah, most everybody, because as I was talking and going through the exercise myself, whose arms got tired? Okay, so we switched to support each other, okay, because the shoulders were getting a little tired. Who was thinking or who had a narrative in their mind, oh my God, I can't wait for this to be over. That's okay, be honest. Who was like, why in God's name are we doing this? For what? Okay. So my takeaway or my lesson that I want us all to extract from this is, it's multifactorial, and I've got some notes to help prompt me, but how many of you feel your patients are uncomfortable when they come see us? How can we be our best for them if we can't be comfortable enough with the people that we work with day in and day out and inside a very safe, sacred space, in my opinion, with people that are all wearing the same uniform, name tags, etc. You guys know you're not in any danger. Who do we have to become as human beings to be comfortable just looking at someone's eyes for 4 minutes? You know, they say that they're the windows to the soul, right? Well, why are we so uncomfortable just sharing that little tiny bit of intimacy with each other? Why don't we have that capacity, and why is it so uncomfortable to do that? Think about that. And as you think about it, I'll try to pull this together here, and the shot can take it away. People keep asking me, particularly over the last couple of years, why are you still growing? Isn't it more time? Isn't it more stress? Isn't it more debt? You know, isn't it more time from the family? You know, how do you, like, why? In fact, a local business owner just asked me that the other day. Why? What for? And after a lot of time and a lot of reflection, I came to my answer. And the purpose of our existence as people on the planet is consistent expansion in all areas of our life, as fathers, as mothers, as partners, as spouses, as brothers, as sisters, as parents, as friends, as lovers, as co-workers. It's to expand ourselves, right? It's to become more than we are right now. In any part, I'm not talking about work, I'm talking about your whole life, okay? Become a better son, become a better daughter. You know, I could be a much better brother to the two brothers that I have. You know, I know that. I don't connect enough with them, and I need to improve that. So for our patients and for yourselves and for each other, work on becoming someone who could stand there and hold space with a stranger, although we're not complete strangers, for a few minutes, and not have to feel so uncomfortable and so vulnerable that you have to talk, that you have to fidget, that you have to run away, that you have to hope to God this is going to end soon, because that's what our patients need from us. That's what we all need from each other. And that's sort of my takeaway is a life well lived, we're all already doing that because we're serving other people. Relationships are the key to having a rich life. It's not about your business, it's not about your car, it's not about your bank account, it's not about your fancy boots, it's not about any of that. It's about the relationships that we have with people and with each other. And the deeper and more meaningful those relationships are, the better our life feels, the better our life goes, the better we feel in our own skin when we have great relationships. And so I said this a couple years ago, our strength is in our relationships with each other. And if that stays strong and our mission stays focused, then our relationships with our patients and the communities we serve will only get bigger, better, and stronger. And we're going to see more therapists coming back to join our team to help us continue this mission. This isn't work for me. And I know for a lot of you it's not work. This is a mission. This is not a job for me. This is a mission. And I'm grateful and I'm humbled to share that mission with all of you guys. And I'm continuing to look forward to saying, let's go a lot more let's do this as an exercise. Who in the room is going off to PT school here shortly? Stand up, please. PT or PTA school? Come on, stand up, stand up. So that is incredible. And all of us, we know what you're looking down the barrel of, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's hard work, but it's very, very much worthwhile. So as I wrap up, I just want you to think about that little exercise, how it made you feel, and think about our patients and how they need us. You know, they need our knowledge, they need us to bring our humor, they need us to bring our hands, they need us to bring our differential diagnosis capacities, they need us to be willing to ask for help if we don't know the answer. They need us to bring our best for them. And what do we need? We need our patients to come with their vulnerability because that's what allows us to share our gifts with them. So what does that mean? It means we need each other. You know, our patients need us. We need them too. And that's what gives us the juice. And that's what I want you guys to focus on as you go off to school. You're not learning to get an A anymore. You're learning so that you can go out and make an impact and put a dent in the universe with what you accumulate as knowledge. And you're gonna do that the rest of your life. Learning doesn't end when you stop school. Trust me, it doesn't. And you'll hear a lot more about our residency in just a bit, and you'll see that that's the case. But we're here to serve each other. And as long as we continue serving each other and serving our patients professionally and personally, our lives will just continue to get better and better. So thank you, each and every one of you guys, for contributing. I deeply appreciate it. Thanks. For a very quick shout out, anyone who's been here for 1 year, stand up please. At least 1 year. Anybody who's been here for 2 years, stand up. Okay. 5 years, stand up. 5 years, stand up. Okay. 10 years. Okay, there's one man standing, guys. His name's Joseph Mello. I wanted to give a special OG award to Joey today, original gangster, old guy, whatever you guys want to call us, because it's remarkable how much I've learned from Joey over the years. He started off many moons ago as a student, just like many of you guys have, coming through doing his clinical rotation. And I had the privilege years ago of being his CI. And since that time, he's taught me more than I probably ever taught him. So that's truth. And so from a humble, inspired, grateful place, thank you for being as solid as they come. And because we're old guys, and because I still do, in spite of popular belief, have a sense of humor, I do. I got Joey an OG award, an old guy award. No, I love you, man. Real quick shout out to our 2 residents who are going to get grilled over the coals here in just a minute. Steph, is Christine with us? Christine's not with us. Okay, Stephanie. She and Christine have been working their tails off. You guys are going to hear more about that later. And then as I wrap up and hand it off to Shot, you're next, yeah? Okay. Moving into the rest of this year and on into next year, Shot's job description is going to be changing a bit. And he's going to take the helm as our Chief Operations Officer. And what that means is he's going to be responsible for overseeing all aspects of clinic operations, implementing strategic initiatives, optimizing our workflows, and helping to ensure fantastic patient experiences and continued and sustained business growth. I'm going to really focus on maintaining our culture at work, okay? I'm going to go after the best people that we can bring on to our team, and I'm going to focus on continuing to maintain we have enough resources to continue growing our impact in our community, okay? Thank you guys very, very much. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna hop into my kind of usual thing I do at these meetings over the last couple of years, which is to give everybody an update on production company-wide at this point in the year. So first 2 quarters of the year have been completed. So, talk more? Okay. The first 2 quarters of the year have been completed, so we want to give everybody an update kind of on where we're at, and then look into the rest of the year and where we kind of see ourselves growing as well too. So, top table here, we have the first 2 quarters of the year for 2022 and 2023. So 2022, we saw approximately 26,000 visits, approximately 100,000 total units, and a average units per visit of 3.84. And that was with 24 providers across, that was at that point 4 locations. So now 2023, we finished the second quarter with 30,707 total visits. That's a 17.3% increase from the previous year. 122,137 total units. It's an increase of 21.6%. And an increase in our units per visit to 3.98. So it's a 3.6% increase. So, and going up to 27 providers company-wide as well too. So these numbers kind of make sense, right? If we increase the number of providers we have, we should be getting more visits, more total units, right? But something I really want to acknowledge here is our increase in our units per visit. So it's a really testament to our therapists of maximizing the time that they are spending with their patients as much as possible. So, with our private patients, spending more time getting that extra 4th or 5th unit, and even with our patients coming in with Medicare where we have limitations on how we can bill, of spending extra time if we have the availability in our schedule, or billing into our time with a private patient potentially as well too. So really wanted to highlight that, and looking at just a few years back, it was a far lower number on that units per visit. So everybody seems to have a really key understanding of the benefits of really pushing that. So then looking at year-end totals. So looking at 2022, we finished the year with 53,748 visits, roughly 208,000 total units, and a 3.88 units per visit. So based on our current trajectory of where our numbers are, and with the anticipation of hopefully adding on a few more providers by the end of the year, and spreading that throughout the next 2 quarters, our projection is finish at just over 65,000 total visits, so it's an increase of 22.4%. Approximately 250,000 total units, so that's an increase of 19.3%, and hopefully sticking around that 3.98 units per visit, which is approximately 2.6% increase. So why am I talking about this? Well, it really comes down to is that this is a way that we can continue to push what John was just talking about, of providing more opportunities for everyone who is currently a part of our team, growing more locations so that we can provide those growth opportunities in your career. And for our students who are going off to PT school, we want to have a place for you to come back to. And at a certain point, if we keep sending all of you guys off to PT school, there may not be room to come back unless we continue to push this growth. So I just want to acknowledge everybody. This is fantastic in where we're moving, and just keep pushing. You're doing the right thing. Next, everybody's favorite. Let's talk about photo. So, for all of you who are not maybe as familiar with photo, so it is an outcome measure that we use. You may be the one who sets it up in terms of putting in the patient's information. You may be an aide who's handing the survey to a patient, don't really understand necessarily what's happening with it. So it is called Focus on Therapeutic Outcomes. It is an outcome measure that is based on subjective functional deficits. So a patient basically answers these questions based on where they are from a functional standpoint when they first come in, and then we ask them those same questions throughout the year, throughout their treatments. So what has changed this year was, and I highlighted this last year, that we were going to start reporting MIPS, which is the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System that CMS, or the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is Medicare basically, that we are starting to report data to them this year. So I wanted to give you an update on kind of where we're at, because this is all important stuff, because it means that we're basically a little bit more under a spotlight with Medicare. So the good news is that we are currently above that 70% threshold company-wide. So that means that for every 10 patients coming in, we're getting at least 7 of those patients to get their initial survey, at least 1 follow-up, and then hopefully a discharge after that. So awesome job by everybody. I know it's a team approach to this, so thank you all for really implementing this year. And we're going to continue on, because this is the kind of future of where things are going in terms of reimbursement from Medicare. So that gets to my next point. So what we have over here is, this is our data from 2023. So in this column here, performance rate, this is our rating, okay, based on the numbers that we've entered throughout the year. And then this is where we compare to the median performance rating, which means every company across the US that is reporting MIPS data to Medicare, that's how we compare to them. So looking at this, you might be like, that looks like we're below in a lot of different categories, which is correct. But there's a little bit more detail on this, because what it really comes down to is there's a few things that we're not doing that we will eventually need to be doing, and that right now with where we are, we're doing everything exactly how we want to be in terms of that 70% threshold. That's all that matters right now. What's going to change in 2025, once Medicare adopts this permanently and requires everyone to be doing this, is that number on that performance rating is going to matter, because that's going to determine our reimbursement rate. So if we are lower than the median across the US, that means we get paid less. If we're higher than the median, that means we get paid more. So what I've discovered in this is that there are some details that we need to be focusing on at some point to make sure that we are getting the most accurate data possible. So on the left here, we have a patient where they were coming in for shoulder pain and they coming post-surgically. So what's important is that the way that the algorithm works that Photo uses is that it takes all of these, the way that they answer their questions, their past medical history, it uses that to then say, okay, this is your starting score, and then we think it's going to take this many visits for you to get to this functional level, basically, right? So in the case of if we are lacking this type of information, like that they had a surgery, and let's say, for example, the patient is a reverse total shoulder replacement, that's really important data that they need to have, because if we don't include that, we all know that if somebody has a reverse total shoulder replacement, their functional level, they're not going to just be getting back up to doing everything that they want. They most likely are going to be having some major mobility restrictions. So if we don't mention that, basically it's going to think, oh, this patient should be getting up to this really high level, when they won't actually ever reach that. And so that's really important for our scores that we're entering to include this type of information. Another example, and this is more specific to the PTs, is that we have a patient with coming in for low back pain. Like, it's not specific in terms of being like surgical, but what it does include is low back pain with mobility deficits, low back pain with movement coordination dysfunction, radiating pain, all of these things that a patient isn't going to be able to tell us beforehand, that our patient care coordinators are not going to be able to enter as well too. We ourselves as the clinicians have to be entering that type of information. So what does this mean? It means that there is going to be an extra level 2 photo eventually, which is obviously a pain because it's already enough of a pain already that you have to do this before a patient comes in for their evaluation, get this information entered. The good news is that we have time. We don't have to worry about this until 2025. So this is one of the things that I'm really going to be taking on, is figuring out what is going to be the best system that we can implement to make sure that we are getting the most accurate data that we possibly can. Because if we don't, it's going to affect all of us. Because if we don't get those numbers up compared to the national average, that means our reimbursement rate is going to go down, which none of us want to have happen as well too. So any questions about any of that? It's more, this is just an update on this. It's not something that we need to be doing now. It's more of just kind of like last time, giving everybody a heads up of what was coming for the next year. Same thing when we get closer to that time point. And again, like I said, throughout the year and even into 2024, we're gonna just test different ways of really how to do this and figure out what really works best for all of us, so that we can still continue to focus on our patients and give them high quality care, but being compliant with all these standards that we're being held to as well too. So, any questions about any of that? Joy.
Is there any progress on clinicians interfacing with photos?
At the moment, no, because they have their own version of Photo. It's called Keat Health. But with their acquisition from WebPT, that's something that could potentially change, because I know WebPT is integrated with them. But that's something that we're looking, kind of keeping our eyes on as well too, is that how it typically goes with an acquisition, especially with WebPT, is that when they buy people, they don't keep them around for a long time, which means that we might have to switch EMRs sometime in the near future as well too, which is something we've already talked to 2 different companies, and we're going to talk to a couple more to make sure that when that time does happen, that we're prepared basically as best as possible and make the best possible decision, so that we make that transition as easy as possible, because we all know that it pretty much sucks no matter what. So, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, fantastic. Thank you all. Next, we're gonna have Hannah come up, and she's gonna go over some metrics for regarding the front office and call center.
All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah, and I am the admin coordinator here at Balance. Just a little bit of background, 2.5 years ago, I was very fortunate to start working for Balance. I started off in the Monterey Clinic as a patient care coordinator in the front of the office. That eventually led me to the position I am in today, the administration coordinator. My job is to oversee the front offices, call center, and anything that pertains to administration. With starting off my time here in the front desk, I know how it goes into the position these girls are in when being in the front. I'm so grateful that I have such a hardworking team who shows up every single day and puts in their best and always has a smile and gives the best service to all of our patients. With my new position, having me in our headquarter location, I also want to recognize how hard our call center works. There are days when we have piles of referrals and an average amount of 150 calls. Still somehow manage to answer all of the calls and have 0 referrals at the end of the day. That is what I call freaking hustle. I want to say, because of you ladies, your position, my position, and Balance just keeps growing and succeeding in everything we do. So with that being said, I made a little bit of presentation of graphs of how the admin has been doing in the past 6 months. So I'm gonna start off with Salinas. Salinas has smiled at and serviced 10,666 visits. Monterey has serviced 8,121 visits. Prindale has smiled and serviced 5,164 visits. Ryan Ranch has serviced and smiled 4,142 visits. Watsonville has smiled and serviced at 1,586 visits. Creekbridge, our newest one, has smiled and serviced 1,032 patients. Altogether, from January 2023 to June, we have serviced 30,711 visits. That's amazing. I also want to give a huge shout out to our call center. They have successfully answered, listened, and serviced 18,704 calls. That's amazing. Thank you all. I'm so proud of you, and we can only go up from here. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. In addition to what Hannah said, I wanted to let everybody know that Hannah and I are going to be doing something a little bit different this quarter, which is going to involve Hannah and I tag teaming to train call center and front office. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot of us in the offices this quarter. We feel that the ongoing education and the constant training is going to make everybody's job a little bit easier. We also want to get a sense of everybody's flow in the office setting, and to make sure that they're showing the best version of themselves by smiling, greeting, and having a relaxed environment. So at any time when we are in the office, feel free to talk to us if anybody wants to bring up anything that we may improve. We'll take it back to our leadership meetings and make sure that happens if possible. So with that said, I just wanted to give a big shout out to my direct billing team, Gabby, Sam, and Lucia, because right now during our training, they're taking the billing task on their own. I'm stepping away this week to be with our call center, providing constant education. So thank you guys so much for that. Jennifer, not here today. Big shout out to her too. She's doing our verification of benefits. So with that said, I also too want to provide you guys last quarter's or quarter 2. We hit a couple milestones last quarter, so I'm very proud of that. We verified 3,761 patients. We processed 201 authorizations. Lucia scheduled 148 new workers' comp patients and sent out 80 medical records. Gabby, Sam, we processed and probably reprocessed about 30,599 claims quarter 2, while keeping a perfect pass in our clearinghouse of 99.7%. So that's really good. Thank you guys so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Arash. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the clinic director at Ryan Ranch, and I'm also the residency director. So the residency, you guys see this huge schematic here. This is gonna constantly be changing, but this was our first year. Steph is here, Christine's in Mexico, but they are our first inaugural students, and they've both been phenomenal. I'm gonna throw Joe, John, and Miguel under the bus too. Where's Miguel? There he is. Those are the 3 faculty members along with myself. It's been a great experience so far. We're still working through a lot of things. We're coming up on accreditation. Our decision should come end of September, early October. We absolutely knocked that one out the park. We got 175 out of about 178, I believe, metrics meets expectations by the board standards. So for those of you that are like, what is residency? Because I know we got a lot of PT aides. We got a lot of PTs that may not fully understand what residency is. It's basically, so APTA is our bodying organization for the US, American Physical Therapy Association. Then we also have a branch within the APTA called the ABPTRFE. So it's a mouthful, but see if I can get this right. The American Board of Physical Therapy Residency and Fellowship Education. So this is the board that actually accredits post-professional education. So once you finish PT school, you got your diploma, you're a PT, you take the board exam, you're now a credentialed PT by the state. You can practice and provide physical therapy services. The next step, if you want to continue your education, is to sit for the residency or the specialist exam. So there's two ways to do that. You can get 2,000 hours in your particular specialty. So there's orthopedics, cardiopulmonary, neurology. There's, I believe, 10 different specialties, and it's growing. So you can get it through 2,000 hours of that practice, or you can finish an actually accredited residency and then sit for the board exam. So then that board exam gets you extra letters, OCS, SCS, whatever it may be, orthopedic certified specialist. That is not the purpose. So the purpose is to continually seek knowledge, to be better, right? So you guys think about, what was that exercise John had us do, right? We all do that, whether we like it or not, on a micro level. We're looking at things where we can improve. Maybe we're not there yet to improve, but that constant inching forward is the pursuit of excellence, right? So in the context of residency is developing your education, your platform in your mind of how you reason through whatever presentation you have from the patient in front of you, and you're drawing from huge patterns, right? If you're like Joe, you've been here 14 years, you're gonna draw from how many different patients from across how many different demographics, and you're able to apply to that individual that's right in front of you, right? So the goal of the residency is to sort through it all, sort through all the reasoning, sort through the personal and professional development, have mentors that are gonna guide you week to week through it all, so that when you're actually looking at a patient square in the eyes, you know exactly what they need. They may not know it, they're here for you. They're here to get value from you as a provider. And physical therapy, we all know, being in this room, and this is why this is a mission for me, is I believe so much in physical therapy. We provide so much as medical providers that other people don't do. Plus, we have the time, right? So you have the knowledge, you got the time. Do you have what it takes to actually look them in the eye, build a relationship, be humbled, be able to share your difficulties with them when the time is right? Can you gauge that accurately, right? So this is really, the residency is all about, yes, orthopedics. We're gonna make you a master clinician, recognize patterns that would take you 5 years in a year. But underneath that is we're trying to get you to develop as a professional and as a person. So ultimately, as a human, you can be there for the person that's on the plinth, right? And are you there every single visit, right? That's what's gonna make a difference for people. So that is the mission of the residency, to get people, our providers, the people that come on board, to get as quickly to that point as possible, to mastery. Steph will talk about this a little bit more, so I won't beat a dead horse here, but in essence, the way that this works is there is didactic work. We have courses which we will be teaching next year, but Agile, which we partner with a little bit up north, they taught our courses for our first year. Second year, we'll be teaching them here, probably in the Monterey Clinic, but we'll have 5 courses. We got, spine, so cervical thoracic, lumbar, we got lower extremity, upper extremity. It's gonna be divided amongst 5 different courses. Then there's independent study coursework, which all the residents, I know Steph loves filling out that reading log, right? Yes. So the residents have to read a ton, because the OCS, to sit for that exam, it's an 8-hour test. It's literally clinical vignettes for 200 questions. So, and every question is a different clinical vignette. So they have to be very well versed in their clinical reasoning and be able to go quick. The other aspect, which I think is the gold, and I've been coming to find it to be the gold, is the mentorship. You got over 50 years of experience between John, Joey, myself, and Miguel currently, that are basically helping all the residents sift through everything and come to the meat of it. So that is, I'm seeing it's amazing how we can coordinate that and have our mentors rotate week to week and then implement our coursework on top of that. So I'm very proud of this thing, and we're looking on accreditation probably in the next 2 to 3 months, and it's looking very good, and our second class will be starting in January. Thank you.
All right, so Christine, like you said, is not here today, so we originally had an audio file that she had attached to our presentation, but since we're not connected to the speaker system, I'm just gonna read what she had originally said. So, Christine and I finished school during COVID, which means a lot of our necessary in-person learning occurred online, with as much guidance as can be provided in that scenario. We both chose the residency to be able to build our knowledge and improve our ability to treat, since we each felt part of our education was lacking. Because the last year or so of PT school for us was drastically affected by COVID and hybrid learning, we wanted to use this opportunity as a way to better hone those skills that we feel like we couldn't necessarily develop and refine behind a computer screen. Each week, we have at least 3 hours of mentorship with Arash, Joey, Miguel, or John, where we co-treat patients. It's one-on-one, resident-led clinical mentorship and patient care, where we are able to learn new manual techniques and gain new perspectives, all while looking at the patient as a whole and tailoring treatment to each patient individually. We have spent time reading the books provided to us, studying the curriculum, and going to multiple weekend continuing education courses. The orthopedic specialty is 1 out of 10 specialties in PT that helps us gain advanced knowledge and training in examination, clinical skills, and decision making. The residency isn't designed to learn more about anatomy, physiology, or therapeutic exercise, but it's to improve our efficiency and effectiveness to treat using evidence-based practice and the ICF model, which I will get to in just a minute. It's not a multitude approach, rather an isolated approach to improving patient outcomes and overall quality of life. So, as therapists, we use the ICF model, or the International Classification of Function, to classify impairments. We are able to determine physical impairments and categorize them, identify what functional and recreational activities patients are limited by, and start to tease out any psychosocial factors that could contribute to patients' overall health. I'm sure we've all experienced stress or external factors that can affect our physical health, and it's important for us to determine what could be contributing to a patient's impairments to best treat the whole person. So we use the ICF model to determine physical impairments as well as mental and social factors that can contribute to treatment. We're able to classify our physical impairments into radiating pain, referred pain, mobility deficits, movement coordination deficits, power deficits, and cognitive affective, or like the mental aspect of your health. So I prepared a little bit of like a patient case to kind of go through so you can see the process that we go through with residency. So I recently had a patient, an 88-year-old female, status post-lumbar fusion, come in for an evaluation. She reported and presented with signs and symptoms with like what you would expect after someone had their spine fused. So you think flexibility problems, balance impairments, core and leg weakness. She was completely independent before her surgery and had every intention of remaining independent and going about her daily tasks. She presented with movement coordination deficits, like I spoke about on the previous slide, that was evidenced by balance. The mobility deficits due to the nature of a spinal fusion, muscle power deficits, the core and the leg weakness that I talked about, and occasional radiating symptoms in her left lower extremity had significantly reduced after her surgery. All right, so from the therapist and even anybody else, what sorts of questions would you guys ask to determine this patient's psychosocial factors? Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Did you guys hear everything so far? Okay, cool. Anybody else? That's all right. So we are able to see, like with a complicated patient, I just mentioned a huge list of impairments. How would you then prioritize treatment? And that's what the residency is for, is prioritizing the treatment and being able to really streamline and be efficient as a clinician. So I asked all this because over the following few weeks, I was really able to delve into the psychosocial factors of this patient. She was an 88-year-old woman who was separating from her spouse, trying to sell her house and move out to be completely independent. So you can imagine that that provided a lot of stressors in her life. After we were able to build a rapport and she got more comfortable with me, we were able to address some of the fear avoidance behaviors and work on cognitive affective or the mental side of her treatment, along with addressing the physical impairments. We were able to address how her mental, and fear avoidance behaviors were affecting her balance, because she would go on a walk every day and was kind of fearful of going on a walk by herself. How it affected her activities of daily living around her house. And as we addressed this, we were able to move through the other impairments, including strength and balance, as her fear avoidance improved and she felt more comfortable and confident to maintain her independence. So you can imagine that there were days that she would come in just physically, mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, not focused because of things that were going on at home. But we have to treat the patient as a whole person. They're not just a back surgery. And like there was one instance where she had fallen in her yard because she was trying to, prepare her house to sell it, and she fell, and so we had to reevaluate her. And these are, psychosocial factors that contribute to the overall health of your patient. So we're able to change the treatment plan based on how they present to us each day. We have to treat them like a person. And then we're able to tailor that treatment to their physical impairments or the asterisk signs, what you want to change each day based on the goals. So what this means as a whole team approach, aides, if you guys ever have questions for the therapist about why, we're doing certain exercises or what parameters to use, do not be afraid to ask those questions, because a lot of you are interested in going into PT school, and it's important for you to know those things and kind of understand why. Patients ask you questions all the time about why you're doing something. It's a good idea to know that. In this scenario, we did a lot of different balance exercises to simulate, walking over uneven surfaces in her yard because she had fallen. So we use things like Airex pads, cones, hurdles, things like that to simulate her environment so that she's able to safely live by herself. And then another thing is with HQ, if a patient calls and says that they're too sore to come into therapy, how would you guys address that? Anybody? So one option is that you could say, let me contact your physical therapist and I'll have them call you, because we treat that. That's something that we can work with directly with our patient. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a canceled appointment. We want to build that rapport with our patients and tell them, that we will, meet you where you are that day. It doesn't have to be, the same intensity as last time. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. And it shouldn't be, right? So there are a lot of things to consider within each patient's plan of care. Because of the residency, I feel much more comfortable organizing patients' treatments, including the psychosocial factors of, everybody's lives. And because of the residency, I feel more confident, organizing the treatment plan like this where I may have not done that in the past. And because I've been exposed to this, model, the ICF model, the way that it's written now, I definitely feel much more comfortable with that. And that's it.
All right. Hi everyone, I'm Tali. I am the HR director. I just started here at the end of November after Thanksgiving, and it's been an adventure for sure. So a little bit about me really quick. I've been in HR for a little over 10 years. I have a background in healthcare from the Center for Autism. I've worked in manufacturing, technology, pharmacy, kind of all the different industries out there. HR was important to me because I felt like the human aspect of work was incredibly important. Studies have shown taking care of your employees makes the bottom line follow, and I feel like that's a really important thing, is that everyone wants to come to work. You spend so much time here. It's really important to have a good place to come to and want to come to and return to. The purpose of HR is to keep us, yes, in compliance, make sure things are running smoothly, but also to make sure that our employees are taken care of, whether it's medical conditions, accommodations, helping you with, manage your personal life so that it doesn't interfere with work or that you can be your best self, handling confidential matters. All of that is stuff that you can bring to HR, and we're here to help you with that. A couple new things that we've got going. We have Zenefits. You all noticed probably the new time clocks we had that we started this week. Obviously, everything's going to be a learning curve, so that's okay. We've already had some little missteps, but we're going to get there. Zenefits is going to be your one-stop shop to check your hours, check your PTO. You'll be able to access your pay. You'll be able to kind of do everything in the system and have access to it wherever you are, which will be kind of a nice new thing for everyone to have, and everything will be there. We also are going to be having a new handbook coming out soon. It's probably double the size of the old one, so lots of reading to get to. We have a new PTO policy that we're going to be implementing that does some caps. One of the reasons we are going to cap PTO is because we all want to encourage you to take PTO. It's really important to kind of step back from work. We always encourage that work-life balance, so we want to encourage you to take trips, spend time with your family, and really take care of yourselves so that you can be the best that you can. You'll also find it's probably a little more comprehensive. It'll talk about different leaves of absence, medical accommodations, different expectations that we have for the job, laws to follow, training and stuff like that. So you'll get that probably pretty soon. You'll all get registered in Zenefits pretty soon as well. And of course, if you have any questions, any concerns, work or not, I'm always here as a sounding board, especially if you need someone confidential to talk to. It doesn't go past here unless it's a requirement. So yeah, as the function develops, I'm really excited to see where it goes and where the company heads off to.
Hello, so my name is Miguel. Most of you might not know me. My team's with a few of you often, but can't put the name to the face, sorry. So the reason why I brought this is because this is my speech for my recognition award. As you guys all know, John talked about our strong core values and how much we try to live by those values every day. But when I was asked to recognize one person, there's a lot of people that I want to recognize. In fact, the whole office really, but I really had to narrow it down to one. So I want to read this because I think this person embodies what this is. If you guys don't know this, it's attitude. It's in every room that we have, it's even in the bathroom, I think. So that just shows you how important John Fairman and Balance Physical Therapy, how much weight we put on attitude. So it goes like this. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than success, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, or a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past, and we cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are all in charge of our attitudes. So the reason why I read that is because this person really personifies that. We all have ups and downs, but this person comes to work every day, smile on their face, pushing hard. Sometimes they don't feel good, sometimes they do, but you can never tell. And so I want to recognize Dr. Jasmine Diaz. Come on up. So this is for you, for your great attitude. There you go. Back down. Oh, yeah. There you go.
I don't have any thing to read like that, but mine's going to be based off of the strong core value for my award. However, I know a lot of us are just meeting each other for the first time, so I like during this time to kind of introduce the Monterey staff, particularly some of those that will be leaving to go to PT school and stuff. But so can Alindra stand up? Where's Alindra at? There she is. So Alindra is our front office rock. She was trained by awesome Hannah. Where's Hannah at? Hannah. So she took over Hannah's spot, and she's extremely friendly, very hardworking, and always fun to be around. She also wears very good shoes. So, her ability to manage the array of personalities that come through the door in Monterey is pretty amazing. I don't know how she does it sometimes, and she always does it with a very big smile. So thank you, Alindra. Appreciate it. Round of applause. So all the aides, could all the Monterey aides stand up? By the way, could all the Monterey people stand up? I think we're the most hee-haw out of everyone in the offices, by the way, coming from Monterey. So the aides, I just want to personally thank you guys all. I mean, everyone who's a PT or a PTA understands like how crazy it could get and how much they get us out of situations like Vanessa did this morning for me. And they just run around, they kind of are able to read the room, but they're also very inquisitive, and I love it because this is probably the year where we've had the most aides going to PT school. And so that's pretty cool because hopefully it comes full circle and they become colleagues. So we have Andrew, I don't think is here. He goes off to Duke. Daniel leaves, what, 2 weeks? You're off to Western University. I don't think Amanda's here. She's leaving. Who am I missing? There's 4. Oh, and Bree already left, yeah. But thanks to all the aides. Sarah's over there. She's the awesome assistant director. She does a lot for the company and for myself. There's not enough words to describe everything that she does and how important she is for the operation of Monterey. And she understands the vibe that I try to create there. So I love working with Sarah, and she was my patient at one time, so full circle there, right? And also congrats, Sarah just got a house, so. Nikki's in the back over there. Nikki is like having my brother around in the office. So we love sports, and our banter I think is just amazing for people. I almost think sometimes we should bill like NeuroReed or something during those times. But Nikki has evolved into quite a mentor. He has a student, Tyler, who's right here. And it's really fun to watch Nikki work with you and with other students as well. That's my favorite part of being a PT is the mentorship side of it. So it's awesome to see that, Nikki. I don't tell you enough, but you do a great job with that. And Nikki's also taken off on a lot of the social media stuff, which he does a great job. So if you guys have the chance, please check out the page. He's doing a lot of cool creative stuff right now. He's a soccer fan, so we connect at a lot of levels. Stephanie, you guys just saw her. She has grown a lot as a clinician with the time together, and her ability to balance the load as a PT and the load as a resident is really commendable. And she's a tough cookie. She comes to work sometimes with some really bad headaches and stuff, and she never ever complains, and she'll just crush it in the treatment room. So the one thing I'm upset about though is she moved desks, and now I don't get snacks anymore, so we gotta talk about that later. Brandon's not here. He's our new PTA. He's fit in seamlessly. It's unfortunate, you guys would love to meet him, and he's a big golfer too. So if any other clinics want to challenge a foursome, Monterey I think is going to kick some ass. Mandy's back there. Mandy's our new pediatric PT. So it's our first time having a Pete's PT, right? Yeah. And it's a really, really fun dynamic in the Monterey office sometimes. And it's amazing to watch you work because I have 3 kids and I think they're difficult, but having a child with a disability and how patient and like amazing you are with them it's really, really awesome. I'm sure you get a lot of practice with Nikki at home, but I really look forward to seeing the growth of that because it's a really fun dynamic. I love children. I love the environment that they create. It's kind of that fun, playful environment. So I'm really enjoying that. And now for the award. So Christina, where's Christina at? Come on up here, Christina. So Christina is a PT in Monterey, obviously. And I based mine, I'm calling it the Strong Award based off the core values. She's new, so she doesn't necessarily exemplify all of them, but she is a very perseverant young lady. And I've been spending a lot of time with Christina in a mentoring avenue. And her growth, which isn't necessarily the most perceptive to everyone, is pretty tremendous. And I try to keep it to myself a lot, but I watch you and see how well you've developed as not only a person, a teammate, but also a clinician. It's fun, and I really, really enjoy it. Your ability to develop rapport with patients, your ability to take a patient through a case now has grown quite a bit. And I love to see that growth. You're also one of the most respectful and grateful people I've ever met. She's always like saying thank you, and I'm like, I didn't do anything. But the cool thing about her too is she's training to run a 200K in Ireland, which is what, 115 miles you said? Yeah. So, and she does that like after work, right? So she is a silent but very impactful person. And it's fun, really fun getting to know you. I think we should all get to know each other a little bit more at a personal level, kind of like with these activities that we worked on. So I'm calling you like the tough cookie, but very sweet. So here's your award. Yeah, for sure.
Hello everyone, I'm Meredith. I am now the clinical director of Prudendale, just starting this week. So I'm really excited. I have an amazing team at Prudendale. It's really hard to give one person the award. I thought of every single person and they're just amazing, really easy to work with. But I have to give it to somebody. So I picked Esau. Esau, can you please come up here? I believe he's only been working as a PT for, what, 7 months? Yeah. And he has really impressed me with all his work. He sees a full patient load, pretty much just as many as I am. He delivers excellent patient care. I'm always watching him with his patients, and they're always smiling and having a good time. It's amazing. And he's always on time, even when there was that flood and shutdown of Highway 1. It took him hours to get to work, 2 hours to get back sometimes. And he just always showed up with a positive attitude and never complained about it. It was just amazing. He's the father of a 2-year-old, right? Yeah. And a baby on the way. So pretty exciting. So that's usually hard to be, having to work 2 full-time jobs with kids and your job. So it's pretty impressive. He can do all that with never a complaint. I always enjoy his questions. He always has very good questions for me about patient care. I like collaborating with him. He's really easy to talk to, and we have really good conversations. And even just, asking for more support on the schedule, looking ahead into the future. He's always ambitious and ready to ask me oh, hey, how can we make this better? So I'm really impressed with him as a physical therapist. So we are really fortunate to have you on our team. Thank you.
All right, so I want to give just a quick shout out before I name my award. We're a lean, mean team over in Ryan Ranch, and there's 3 of us right there in a row. Javen and Sarah, they're our new aides. It's an honor to be a part of your guys' journey going into being an undergrad and working towards your PT applications. I'm looking forward to the growth of both of you, and I've already seen it. So thank you for everything you both have done. Chris, this is probably one of the richest characters I've seen in my life. Really, the conversation I've had with him and the level of conversation that he can have with every single person in our clinic, whether it's a patient, whether it's a patient's caregiver, it doesn't matter who it is. People recognize Chris when he's there, and that's because of the person that he is. So I'm just going to tie that into the residency conversation. We're all here to actualize to our greatest potential, and Chris exemplifies that. He brings that out in people, and it truly is an honor to know you. And he's going to PTA school, so he's going to Ohlone, so wow, it's going to be a great addition to be a part of the PT world. Thanks, Chris. So this one was tough. I was going to give it to Chris, but I got to give it to my man, Devesh. So Devesh, for me, another role model for myself. One thing about me is I'm always looking around at everybody and seeing how can I take a piece of that person and put my own style on it and be even a better version of myself. We all have something to give to every single person, not just in our own clinics, but across the company, to patients, to the stranger in the grocery store, to anybody. And for me, a great judge of character is when someone has their back against the wall. And we all do to a certain degree, right? But this guy is someone that has been through the thickness of it. And every single day, this is not hard for me to say, every single day I come to the clinic, his patient's unwavering commitment, just the level of commitment, it questions my commitment to patient care. And I can humbly throw that out there. I mean, every single patient visit, gold. I mean, what I've coined at this point is he has a Devesh cult. We literally had a patient come in the other day, just poured their heart out in the lobby, just expressing his gratitude from the bottom of his heart is what he said. I mean, Devesh gets this weekly, and it's a constant reminder for myself to be better, to be present, to be there for people, to be a good role model, to exemplify what it is to be good and to have a gigantic heart, which this gentleman for sure does. So Devesh, you get it. I love you, man.
I'm going to share this with my co-workers in the back, Chris, Sarah, and Sonia is not here, Javin, and you. And I want to thank my mom. She's everything. Whatever I am because of her. So.
Hey everyone who don't know me, I'm Kurt. I'm the clinic director at Watsonville, and it's good to see everyone's face. I know we interact on Teams a lot, but it's great to see faces. When I was asked to pick one person to get this award at Watsonville, I immediately said, John Schott, I need to acknowledge two people. So we have Lupita and Sylvia, and I want to acknowledge them because without them, Watsonville would not be up and running. We would not be on our way to having 2 therapists. Tiffany's recently joined us, but honestly, without them, we wouldn't have a clinic. And so I want to start with Lupita. Lupita, I think I asked her probably every day for the 6 months leading up to the opening of Watsonville. I said, you're coming with me, right? You're coming with me. And I wouldn't let it go because she recently came back to Salinas from the Prunedale location, and I told her, I need you. And honestly, Lupita does so much for our clinic. She works both as an aide and with the front desk as the patient care coordinator. Honestly, I think our patients come to see her more than me, and that's no joke. I mean, and she knows what I need before I need it. I know what I need, and honestly, I couldn't do this without you, Lupita. So thank you very much. So come on, get your award. And Sylvia does so much for the Watsonville Clinic. Sylvia, this morning actually, she comes in and I don't even know how she knew this, but she's like, you have a cancellation at 11:20. Do you have anyone you want me to call first? And I'm like, okay, let's take a look. And she's like, I'm gonna call this person, this person. She had like 6 people already lined up. I was like, wow, but that's every day. And Sylvia is an amazing mother. She works tirelessly, at home, and she comes to work every day and just knocks it out of the park. And honestly, Watsonville is so lucky to have you, and I thank you for being a part of our team.
Hi guys, I'm Maria. I'm the new clinical director of our new clinic, Creek Bridge. Our clinic is small, so it's myself and Diana who just came on board. So I know it's very early, but you're building up, right? You're meeting all the patients, so you're doing that effortlessly, and you're getting more and more comfortable meeting everybody and dealing with, patients coming in and you don't even know them. So I'm very grateful for you. I want to recognize Miriam. Miriam is one of our rehab aides. She is an LSL alumni, so just like myself. So she was like, what would you say, Miriam, like top 3 like CCS wrestler. So she understands sports, she understands exercise, progressions, regressions. She's, I think you're one of their best exercise prescription givers. You're like really good at dosing, you're really good at, if the patient is, sore today, before you even ask me, you're like, I've already regressed it to this dose or this weight, right? So I trust you wholeheartedly with that. Cindy is not here, but Cindy is our other rehab aide. So I'll talk with her later. But I want to recognize Jesus today. And I'm going to call this the Making a Difference award because, so coming up here, Jesus. I'll talk a little bit about him. Jesus lives King City, right? But he went off to study at University of Alaska. So he's down here for just 2 months. So he decided to work with us for that short amount of time. And he is still deciding whether he wants to be PT or PTA. But in this short amount of time, and the reason why he's been impressive in these 2 months is because he has worked at providing like a service to the community. So he's worked with Hartnell to give a presentation to their runners. He's the runner himself. So he's collaborated with me a lot about, what is the best way to give value to these athletes. He didn't just want to give like a very simple presentation. He wanted to, what are they missing? What do they have right now and what are they missing? So he worked with the runners in that, and in that meeting, somebody else from another school saw him and saw value in what he said and said, why don't you come tomorrow to present to our high school? So then came back to work, and that day he's like, all right, I'm out. I'm gonna go do that again today at another school. So he did that, and he did that wearing a Balance shirt. So really good for us. And some of the other things that I've seen him do is create programs, right? We have a workout of the day at our clinic, so he created that. And while I was away, stuck in New York, I saw him post that on his Instagram. So he's trying to do as much as he can to promote exercise and provide, movement to people, even at the stage where you are. And I know your brother told you that even doing that at this stage of your career is very impressive. So, well deserved. And I don't want to forget Cass. Cass is amazing. So everything, I don't know how you do what you do. You're an expert, and I'm grateful for you.
Right. Okay, so this was a really hard one because everyone in the front and call center, you guys work day in, day out. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I feel like we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you guys. So I am going to call my award the Perseverance Award. This lady, she puts in hard work day in, day out. She comes in, sometimes she doesn't feel good. Sometimes she has the worst headache, and she still drives all the way from Salinas to go to this office. She greets patients with a big smile and holds a great relationship with each patient as they walk in. Even when things get tough and there's a little bit of a hiccup, either in the front office, the call center, anywhere, she gets back up on the horse and she just keeps moving forward. So I'd like to give this award to Alindra. There you go, girl. Good job. Thank you, thank you. You're welcome.
So yeah, it was really hard to just choose one member of my team. If I know just to ask shot for 3, I would have asked you for 3. Just kidding. But I kind of narrowed down a list of qualities, and the person that for sure met all of my qualities was Gabby, and she's like a silent leader. When I'm not around, Gabby knows exactly what to do, what to cover. She is kind-hearted girl, a great sister and daughter and a friend, and my baby loves to come and see her. She really requests to come and see Gabby and say hi to her. So Gabby, thank you so much.
All hands meeting. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, just so awesome to have you all together. We are heading to the bowling alley at 4 o'clock, so we still have a little bit of time. Before we wrap, I do want to get everybody to cluster in a little bit together, and we're gonna have Fairman take a selfie for us and get all of us together into one group, and then we will head off to the bowling alley. There's still food in the back, some waters as well too, so please eat up, drink up. That too.
Real quick, guys, at the bowling alley, for everybody who's 21 years of age or older, there are 2 big tickets. Beyond that, on you guys. I want to make sure everybody have a great time.
Beer and wine only.
Beer and wine. Anything else you want to drink, order. Any food you want to order there, order. There's going to be veggie trays provided, but we'll have a great time.
All right, so let's all try to cluster in here the best we can so Fairman can get a solid selfie. Yeah, let's do it. These out of the way the best we can.
Oh, there it is.